Hello everyone. In the last video we have seen the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, and now we will see a method to find out the solution of a symmetric integral equation. Okay, so in particular we will be studying how to find out a solution of a non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation of second kind as well as the first kind having a symmetric kernel. Okay, so solution of a symmetric integral equation. And to do this, that means while deriving the looking at the method, we will be using the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem to find out the solution of non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation. Okay, so let us consider the non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation, which is of the form, suppose say y of x equal to f of x plus integral from a to b k x comma t y of t dt. Okay, this is a non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation. We will find out a solution of this equation wherein this kx comma t where k x comma t is a symmetric L2 kernel. Okay, so we will find out a solution of this equation by using the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem. Suppose lambda is I'll have to put lambda here. Suppose lambda is not an eigenvalue and lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on. Okay, these are the eigen values of the kernel k x comma t. Okay, and corresponding to these eigen values, suppose we have the eigen functions, suppose say xi1 of x, xi2 of x and so on. These are orthonormal. This is very important. Okay, we are not just taking any other eigen function whatever we get, we are taking the orthonormal set of eigen functions. Okay, orthonormal eigen system, orthonormal system of eigen functions of kernel k x comma t. Okay, so this is a non-homogeneous Fredholm integral equation with the symmetric L2 kernel, and let lambda be the not the eigenvalue of kernel kx comma t, and lambda 1, lambda 2 and so on, these are the eigenvalues of the kernel kx comma t. Okay, and corresponding to these eigenvalues we will get some eigenfunctions, and all those eigenfunctions we are considering corresponding to that set, we are considering the orthonormal set. Okay, so when we solve the problem, I'll show you all how to find out this orthonormal set. Okay, because corresponding to each distinct eigenvalue, once we get the eigenfunction, already they are orthogonal. Okay, so in order to make them orthonormal, we will have to divide each function by its norm. Okay, that we'll see in the problem, and hence we will get this orthonormal set of corresponding eigenfunctions. Okay, so if we have these things, then by Hilbert-Schmidt theorem we have, okay, so what does the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem says? If we have some function which is of this particular form, what is that form? Integral from a to b kx comma t y of t dt. Okay, such that kx comma t, that is the symmetric A2 kernel. Okay, so now let us say on the LHS what function we will have. We will have a function which is y of x minus f of x. Okay, so this full function is of the form this, right? So lambda times integral from a to b k x comma t y of t dt. So if you remember the formula for Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, when we started with Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, okay, what did I take? I took f of x to be equal to some integral kx comma t some g of t dt. Okay, so in this case our LHS is not only f of x, it is this function of x, okay, which is looking like this, y of x minus f of x. We can call it as some xi of x. Okay, so this is of this form, and this is a L2 kernel. Okay, and so therefore it is satisfying all the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem conditions, and hence what we can say is I can write this function on the LHS, that is y of x minus f of x. I can write this as, by using Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, I can write this as, this I had written just to show you all that the function on this function on LHS, this is of that particular form. Okay, so by using Hilbert-Schmidt theorem I can write this as summation some m going from 1 to infinity. Okay, so the Fourier coefficients, we'll call them as am, and the function xi m of x. Okay, so what is this xi m of x? These should be the orthonormal eigenfunctions corresponding to the eigenvalues of the kernel kx comma t, and it is clear from here because we have taken xi1, xi2, xim as what? Orthonormal system of eigenfunctions of kernel kx comma t. Okay, so therefore I can write this LHS as this series form, which is the Fourier series. Okay, where how am is given? Am is the Fourier coefficient, so it will be the inner product of the function y minus f, okay, and xi m. Okay, so it will be integral, so that will be y of x minus f of x into xi m star, because inner product definition is what? First function as it is into complex conjugate of the second function. Okay, xi m star dx. Okay, so am is equal to this. So if we split this am, what we will get? Am will be equal to integral y of x into xi m star of x dx minus integral f of x xi m star of x dx. Okay, so if you observe carefully, this is nothing but the inner product of y with xi m. Okay, so it is nothing but the inner product of y with xi m, and minus this is inner product of f with xi m. Okay, and if you see what is this, this becomes the Fourier coefficient of the function y of x. So let us call it as some ym, and this becomes the Fourier coefficient of the function f of x. So we'll call it as fm. Okay, so am is of the form ym minus fm. Now what does the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem tell us? It says that suppose if we have some function f of x we had taken, okay, and in this case our function is y of x minus f of x. Okay, so whatever is this function, Hilbert-Schmidt theorem says that we write this Fourier series corresponding to this, right? So it is xi m of x. So whatever are these Fourier coefficients, these coefficients have some relation with the Fourier coefficient of this particular function. Okay, so this function y minus f is integral lambda times integral k x comma t y of t dt. Okay, so whatever are these Fourier coefficients, these coefficients have some relation with the Fourier coefficients of this function. Okay, if you relate it to the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, in that case it was like we had the Fourier coefficient in the series, they were fm, okay, and here we had gm, or I think I used fi and gi. Okay, so whatever are these Fourier coefficients, okay, the series, for the series, they have some relation with the Fourier coefficients of this particular function which is inside the integral sign. Okay, and in this case what are those two? Here we have the constants am. Okay, so this am will have some relation with the ym, because inside the integral sign what we have function y of t. Okay, and corresponding Fourier coefficients of the function y of x are what? Y of m, not y of n, ym. Okay, and what is that relation? That relation is given by am is equal to whatever is this coefficient ym divided by lambda m. Okay, so that relation is given by this. Now in our case what will happen is we will have this extra lambda with us, so I can put that lambda here. Okay, because am has ym by lambda m relation, ym by lambda m relation, and because we have in the Fredholm integral equation we have it like this lambda is there, that lambda will come here for the coefficients. Okay, so now what we have this equation 1 and this equation 2. From these two equations we will find out, we will get that ym minus fm is equal to am, but what is am? Am is lambda times ym by lambda m. Okay, so if I take this on the other side, what we will get? ym minus lambda times ym by lambda m is equal to fm. Okay, so this becomes ym lambda m minus lambda divided by lambda m, that is equal to Fm. So this tells us that Ym is equal to Fm into lambda m divided by lambda m minus lambda. Okay, so therefore now we can easily calculate what is this Am. So we are trying to find out a solution for the Fredholm integral equation. Okay, so we had written this as summation m going from 1 to infinity Am xi m of x. So now in this expression we will have to substitute for this Am. Okay, and if you see here we have already calculated what is Ym. So if this is Ym, then what will be Am? Am is Ym minus Fm, that we get from this equation 1. Okay, so Am is Ym minus Fm. So I take this Ym, that is Fm into lambda m, okay, divided by lambda m minus lambda minus Fm. So after solving this we get that Am is equal to this, that is lambda into Fm divided by lambda m minus lambda. Okay, so this Am we will substitute it here. So what we will get? We will get this summation m going from 1 to infinity lambda Fm divided by lambda m minus lambda into xi m of x. Okay, but what is Fm? Fm is the Fourier coefficient for the function f of x. So how do we calculate Fm? It is the inner product of f with xi m. So what it is? Integral of f of x into xi m star of x, meaning the complex conjugate, into dx. Okay, so this particular is the, this expression is the formula for Fm. So now I can take this outside the summation sign lambda. Okay, because there is no m involved here, and whatever the terms with the m I will keep them inside. So this will be m going from 1 to infinity, then this is Fm, I will write it as integral f of, now see here I have written the integral as integral f of x into xi m star x dx. Okay, and if you notice here also we have this xi m of x. So if I write this integral in terms of x, then when you write it in this inside the summation sign, we may get confused, or we may integrate this xi m of x also along with this expression. Okay, so in order to avoid that, what we will have to do is, and in fact that is different. Okay, this xi m of x is outside this. Okay, so I will write this as integral f of t xi m star of t dt. I am writing it in terms of t. Okay, so there is no notation clash, and outside it will be xi m of x. Okay, and this is Fm, it is divided by lambda m minus lambda. Okay, so now we have got this expression. And now in the next step I can take this xi m of x inside the integral sign, because then it will have no clash with the integration variable, that is t. Okay, so now we can write this particular expression in some nice form, that is y of x equal to f of x plus lambda times summation m going from 1 to infinity integral xi m star t xi m of x divided by lambda m minus lambda into f of t dt. Okay, now if you see this expression, what I will try to do is I will try to write this in terms of the resolvent kernel. Okay, because when we write the solution of the integral equation, either we get explicitly what the function y of x is, or we can write the solution in terms of the resolvent kernel. Okay, so what should be the form of the solution if we are using the resolvent kernel thing? Okay, then it should be f of x plus lambda times integral of some resolvent kernel expression into f of t dt. Okay, so now if you can see inside this bracket, it is the resolvent kernel. So from expression 1 to expression 2, how did we arrive at this? I have shifted that integral sign, order of integration and summation. I have interchanged the order. Okay, and why that is allowed? It is allowed because whatever series we have here, it is uniformly and absolutely convergent. And how we know that it is uniformly and absolutely convergent? That is by the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem. Because when we started with the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem, it said that if suppose we can write this particular function f of x, okay, in our case it was this function y of x minus f of x. If we can write this expression in terms of this series, okay, then it is the series which is uniformly and absolutely convergent. Okay, that is what the Hilbert-Schmidt theorem said, and therefore this series is uniformly absolutely convergent, and I am allowed to interchange the order of summation and integral sign. Therefore I take this integral sign outside, and inside whatever we get along with this summation is the resolvent kernel into f of t dt. Full thing divided by lambda m minus lambda. Okay, so where m is going from 1 to infinity. So that is how we get the resolvent kernel. So we have seen that we get this y of x to be equal to f of x plus lambda times integral some resolvent kernel which is a function of x, t and lambda f of t dt. Okay, where this is equal to f of x plus lambda integral, here it is xi m star of t xi m of x divided by lambda m minus lambda f of t dt. And this becomes the solution of the Fredholm integral equation. Okay, where gamma x t lambda is given by, sorry, here it should be summation m going from 1 to infinity. So this is given by summation m going from 1 to infinity xi m of x xi m star of t divided by lambda m minus lambda, okay, and such that lambda is not the eigen value of kx comma t, okay. Because if suppose lambda is the eigen value, then this resolvent kernel will not exist, okay. So remember that when we considered the Fredholm integral equation, we considered it in such a way that lambda is not the eigen value, okay. So if lambda is not the eigenvalue, then we will get this resolvent kernel, which is a valid expression, and hence we will get the solution of the integral equation, okay. Here note that the singular points of the resolvent kernel gamma xt lambda, okay, of this gamma xt lambda corresponding to a symmetric kernel, okay. So singular points of this corresponding to the symmetric kernel kx comma t are the simple poles, and every pole is an eigenvalue of the kernel, okay. And that is very clear from here, see, because when will this become a bad point of meaning at which points of which values of lambda we will get the bad points, that is lambda m. So whenever this lambda takes any value which is equal to the eigen value, that time the function the quantity will become not defined, okay. That means we will get the singular points of the kernel k of the of the resolvent kernel gamma xt lambda, okay. So that is how we find out the solution.